NewsX, and we focus on the only big story of the day. Pakistan has been trying their best for years to make sure that India is broken into pieces, and the Pakistani army and the military establishment spend every second acting on this impulse. So why shouldn't India also do the same? In other words, proxy war for proxy war. That's the only tangible solution many have said is capable of making sure Pakistan is stopped. Now, let's go across to my colleague Ritanshu in just a bit. Remember, India has already done that before in 1971 when Bangladesh was created out of East Pakistan. The Pakistani army was defeated yet again in the four wars we've fought. With Pakistan showing no signs of abating their 1,000 cuts policy against India, should India now respond in kind? Let's go across to Ritanshu Bhattacharya, my colleague who joins us, who will walk us through what that plan could look like. Ritanshu?
Well, thanks indeed. And Pakistan right now is on the brink of collapsing into not one, not two, but as many as 6 smaller states. It starts, of course, from Balochistan, where people have the fires of secession and autonomy have been raging for quite some time now. If you take Balochistan out of the equation, the next place where fires of revolt are also raging are in Sindh, where obviously, which is also aiming at seceding from the country of Pakistan. Then third, obviously, is the larger state of Pashtun, which is looking for a Pashtun republic. They also demand autonomy as well. The fourth state then comes from the Karakoram Republic, which also aims at moving away from the state of Pakistan. That is obviously a small part right at the top of Pakistan, perhaps merging with a larger country of Afghanistan. Then there's also the province of Serakistan, which is also demanding autonomy. It's part of Sindh and Punjab. So which leaves us just with a very small place. This is a part of the Punjab province in Pakistan, which is being known termed by many experts as inner Pakistan. From the entire country of Pakistan, with 6 portions breaking away, it comes down to just inner Pakistan. That's the only part which is actually making decisions, and that's the only part which actually identifies itself as Pakistan.
And right there on the screens. And tonight at 9 p.m., we will be debating the story. Pakistan has lost 4 wars against India, but they haven't stopped trying. Establishment believe that's the only way to counter Pakistan's transgressions against India. How seriously is India looking at that?
Well, 2 things, Arthur. One is that India continues to maintain, and which is a fact, that there is no meddling that India does in Pakistan, in its internal affairs. The bigger issue and the biggest story over here, which we are also putting out, is not what India does within Pakistan, but what Pakistan has done to herself. Balochistan is exploding, no thanks to India. We are looking at Gilgit-Baltistan and protests there for the kind of action that Pakistan is taking in terms of making it the 5th province. Again, no thanks to India, although for India it was a very big issue. It was a major issue, Arthur, because Gilgit-Baltistan is a part of India, and Pakistan cannot take unilateral decisions on that front. Having said that, what India is really looking at is trying to apprise the international community of the wrongs that have been done. Should India be getting involved within Pakistan, into Pakistan, with the kind of proxy wars that we are seeing conducted from Pakistan on Indian soil, within Indian territory, and using Indian territory against India? Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, Arthur, is also a part of India, and it is being used against Indian interests and against India. So looking at what Pakistan has been doing, Arthur, we are looking at a major debate that is ongoing, which we are also discussing today, as to whether if it is all right for Pakistan to continue its proxy wars and India not to get involved. Having said that, as a nation, as a country that abides by international norms, rules, regulations, respects them, honors those international conventions that it signs, unlike Pakistan that has not honored those conventions, including the Geneva Convention, where with the kind of mutilation that we saw of these 2 Indian soldiers. It certainly is a huge point to make whether if India should be involved or not, but officially India continues to maintain that there is no involvement, and officially also India maintains that there will be no meddling into Pakistan. Pakistan is dissipating or disintegrating on her own.
All right, stay with us, Geeta. We're getting some fresh reactions on this story now. General Raj Kadyan, former Deputy Chief of the Army Staff, has just spoken to us. Let's take a look at what he's saying.
They are trying to hit us, our internal weakening. We should do the same, whether it is Balochistan or Baltistan on top, or even within POK, they have a lot of protests. We should, and I am sure the concerned agencies in the government would be considering that. We have let them free, and their army continues to interfere in the valley. Unless we keep them engaged all over, I think they will continue doing that.
Baltistan and Gilgit on one hand, and if they get their independence from Pakistan, and Balochistan on the other hand, with proper division, then Sindh will then skid away, get away from Pakistan, and even the NWFP, because the Durand line is validity, the one with Afghanistan, between Afghanistan and old British India of 1894, has already outlasted its legitimate existence.
All right, Geeta Mohan is still with us. Geeta, of course, you spoke about how movements in Balochistan, movements to secede in Sindh as well as Gilgit-Baltistan have come to the fore. And no thanks to India, of course. These are Pakistan's internal rebellions, if I can call them that. Pakistan has the longest time maintained as far as the Kashmir issue is concerned. I believe this was, of course, the trope throughout the 90s that Pakistan supported the so-called movement in Kashmir morally as well as that's about it. They said we give moral support to those militants in Kashmir. Do you think a similar strategy can be adopted by India? And officially, of course, we won't be part of it, but Prime Minister Modi has already said from the ramparts of the Red Fort that he thanks the people of Balochistan. Similar kind of engagement, similar kind of pricks, if you will, to Pakistan. Would that get under their skin? And would that be of any use?
Well, the fact that that India has come out and stated its intent on supporting the cause of Balochistan has riled Pakistan. We do not know whether the recent incidents or the recent attacks that took place were certainly because of the statements that were made. But on the moral question that you put, go back to 1971 and the war, the liberation war that was the creation of Bangladesh. India stepped in on moral grounds, that an entire peoples as a whole had come together against an oppressive government.
And there were war crimes happening in Bangladesh.
And there were war crimes happening. Similarly, Balochistan is a case where India picks up the issue today is because a peoples as a whole, not just within Balochistan, but all those Baloch living everywhere else in the world have gone to the international community, have looked at India as a country that can come to their help and to their rescue, is the reason why on moral grounds India says that Balochistan's cause is a fair cause. The visuals, the people that we speak with, the crimes that are being committed in Balochistan are absolutely cases and case in point for war crimes, if not anything else.
Let me also put one particular point. Let's take the case of the MQM in Karachi. It's largely a Karachi-based organization. It's an overground political outfit, but the chief there, Altaf Hussain, has been in exile for the longest time. In Pakistan, clearly, politician after politician, doesn't matter what political party they belong to, have decried him as a terrorist. They say he's fighting for independence as well. And he, of course, to be fair, has also made comments against the Pakistani state and establishment, accusing them really of somehow trying to ethnically cleanse those who came over from India, or the Muhajirs, if you will. The Muhajir Qawmi movement. Now, that, of course, is a case in point. That's an internal rebellion, nothing to do with India, really, although Pakistan does point fingers at India. That's just one case we're talking about. I'm sure there are many others in Pakistan.
Absolutely, Athar. And again, that's why we're saying that whether if India interferes, meddles or not, while that has been the case, and a lot of people are saying that that intervention is required, the fact is that there are internal rebellions. Muhajirs, the kind of persecution that the minorities feel, the Ahmadiyyas, there are so many other communities within, and the minorities, meaning the Hindus and the Sikhs within Pakistan, Christians as well, who suffer at the hands of the people who are in control of power, in control of money, who are the ones who drive the economy in Pakistan, and is the reason why one has to really question as to whether if there is a need for India to really meddle, or whether if Pakistan is really disintegrating in the manner in which it is with what we're seeing in Balochistan, in the northern areas, in Gilgit-Baltistan, and the persecution that most of the minorities in Pakistan face.
All right, there you go. That, of course, is something India could be considering. Whether or not there is an official sort of line on this, I won't be too hopeful on that. But, of course, things happen behind the scenes, and those are always much more effective. Tonight, on The Nation at 9, we are debating this issue. Pakistan, remember, has lost 4 conventional wars with India, starting in 48, ending with Kargil 99. And India has already made sure that Pakistan, or what used to be East Pakistan, became Bangladesh when push came to shove. Has the time come again to engage Pakistan in a military battle that can at least put them back, if not completely convinced not to meddle in India's affairs and transgress against this country? That's at Nation at 9, at 9 p.m. today. Don't forget to watch that. All right. We, of course, also been speaking to the families and the kin of the 2 fallen soldiers that died and were badly mutilated against all international conventions by the Pakistani Army and the BAT. The kin is outraged, and instead of assurances and strong condemnation, they want action, they want justice. They've demanded action from the central governments. Their families and their comrades have spoken to NewsX and have demanded stern action from the Indian government. Take a look at some of their voices.
इसके बारे में कहना है, अगर बॉर्डर पर तैनात है, बॉर्डर पर देश के लिए शहीद हुए हैं, इसके लिए बहुत वो बात नहीं है, सौभाग्य की बात है। प्रधानमंत्री जी से कहना यही चाहेंगे कि इनके बारे में अच्छी तरीके से सोच विचार करें और कार्रवाई करें।
हम पापा हमारे शहीद हुए हैं, तो हम एक सिर के बदले 50 सिर हम लेंगे।
I believe we have Tariq Fateh on the phone line, and Geeta Mohan is still with me, and she has questions for Tariq Fateh. Go ahead, Geeta.
Well, Tariq, many thanks for joining us here. The fact of the matter is that there is a law that's brewing within Pakistan. The proxy wars continue from Pakistan. There is a thought brewing within India that the proxy wars need to be countered with proxy wars.
Well, it's that done because these war crimes have already been committed by Pakistan. And sooner or later, India will have to decide, because this is not the first time. Since 47, the Pakistan military has acted by violating, the rules of war. There have been stage crimes, soldiers in civilian clothes. But right now there is a conflict within Pakistan's ruling Punjabi establishment, which is the war between the military and the Prime Minister. And this would be the appropriate time for India to act.
Well, Tariq, is there a need for India to really meddle, or are we looking at a disintegration of Pak from within itself? Look at Balochistan. Look at what is happening within Balochistan. Look at the protests that are taking place in Gilgit-Baltistan, and the minorities of Pakistan raising their voice against the Pak establishment.
I take a longer view of this. What is Pakistan after all? It is a part of India that has been snatched away. In the long run, and if you look at history, India cannot remain indifferent to what has happened, how it's been amputated because of the conspiracies against Hindustan 70 years ago. Sooner or later, these parts will break up. The sooner the better, because as long as there's Pakistan, the pain inflicted on India will not end. That was the reason Pakistan was created, to continuously, whip up anti-Hindu feeling, to boast about a 1,000-year rule over Hindus in Hindustan, And this has to come to an end. That state is only there. Its existence is there to bleed India. There is no other purpose of Pakistan. It's not like other countries, whether that's Iran or Uganda or any other place that has historically been a country. This is just an acronym put together to bleed Hindustan.
Tariq Fateh, let me ask you a question. And I'm not trivializing it at all. It's a very serious question. What is wrong with protracted war with Pakistan if India has been talking and strongly condemning all the excesses that the Pakistani army does against Indian soldiers, mutilating their bodies and what have you, 1,000 cuts and all that? What is wrong then with war with Pakistan? That should be a possibility, right or wrong?
You don't sometimes need to go to war to get back. These are ideological principles Pakistan has trained within its existence. You also have to understand that the areas that are Pakistan, these are not the places that voted Pakistan. The people who voted for Pakistan were primarily in Bengal, UP, CP, Bihar, Bombay and Madras. The NWFP had a Congress ministry. The Punjab did not have a Muslim League majority. Balochistan was an independent country. And in Sindh, it was one vote that decided the affair. I think that by not understanding or not teaching repeated generations of Indians about what exactly is this thing that we call Pakistan.
No, but now we're stuck with Pakistan, are we not? We cannot reverse time now.
No, you're not stuck with Pakistan.
Why not go to war with them, Tariq Fateh? What is wrong with the protracted armed conflict with a neighbor that does not want to see you happy
You
and
don't
wants to
need to
bleed
do
you with
that.
1,000 cuts? What's wrong with war?
You don't need to do that. There are easier ways to deal with it. They require the art of war to be inflicted on Pakistan. Pakistan is tearing apart from within.
Why don't we give it one last push? It'll make our jobs easier.
No, that won't. You don't need to kill and sacrifice Indian lives.
All right.
There are better ways of doing
All
that.
right. Tariq Fateh, thank you for joining us. We move on now. Correspondent Ajay Jandyal is reporting from the BSF post from where Prem Sagar, the head constable, the fallen soldier, operated. Here's his report. Take a look.
We have reached the ground zero in Achhed area of Mender, and you can see behind me the signboard of 200 Battalion of BSF, where the Prem Sagar is posted here in this battalion. He was on duty at the forward area in LOC in KG sector, and this is the area where he was the LOCs, and you can see the tough terrain of this LOC. Yesterday at around 8:30, when when Prem Sagar and other army personnel were deployed, they were on the duty, on the line of duty, and right after that, at around 8:30, Pakistan restored unprovoked firing and targeted these troopers. And during that firing, one army personnel and the BSF personnel, Prem Sagar, got martyred in the firing. And after that, the BAT action team of the Pakistani militant and the Pakistani army, they mutilated to both the bodies, and definitely there are information that they beheaded both the bodies and then take away the heads of these two soldiers. So this is very condemnable act, and now the situation is tense on the border. The deployment has been increased on the border to ensure the security and the sanctity of the border. This is the situation right now here. NewsX.
And Naib Subedar Paramjeet Singh's family also spoke to NewsX. His wife has sought revenge. Take a look.
NewsX says he's ground zero in Krishna Ghati sector area of LOC, and we'll try to show you. This is Krishna top, and we'll try to show you the forward location of the Indian troops on the LOC where they are guarding the nation. This is the area where that incident took place. The incident of brutality of Pakistan took place. You can see on your TV screen. This is the Krishna Ghati area, forward locations of Krishna Ghati, where on the Nangi Tekri army post where the troops were deployed and they were on the joint patrol, BSF and the Indian Army. And right ahead of this area, the black hill you can see on the TV screen, this is Pakistan's Batal area, from where the Pakistani troops targeted these patrol party and the post of the Indian troops, Nangi Tekri, post of Indian Army. During that firing, the bat team of the Pakistani Army and the Pakistani militants, they came across to this area about 200 to 250 meters inside the LOC area and attacked this patrol party, those who are there on the line of duty. And during that firing, they attacked these troopers and killed two of them. Prem Sagar, BSF head constable, and JSU Paramjit Singh. And right after they got martyred during that firing, that attack, the Pakistani bat action team, which includes the militants also, they make a brutal act with the bodies and beheaded both the soldiers after they got killed. So this is a kind of act Pakistan is performing, Pakistani soldiers are performing on the LOC area, and Indian troops are saying that they have retaliated very heavily, and definitely they will retaliate in the future. Definitely this act is condemnable, and whole nation is condemning this act of the Pakistani soldier. Even there is clear message to the Pakistan from the Defence Ministry and the Government of India that this kind of act will not be tolerated, and Pakistan has to pay for it. Vineet Kumar, NewsX, Punch, Ground Zero, Krishna Ghati.
And after the barbarity of the Pakistan army when they mutilated the bodies of two Indian soldiers, the entire country has come as one against Pakistan. Young students from J&K's Krishna Ghati have protested against Pakistan, sending out a strong message that Kashmir will not submit against Pakistan dastardly acts of terror. These young students have demanded that the Indian government send out a terse message to Pakistan. The protest from the students is a major setback for Pakistan, which has been continuously trying to disrupt peace in Jammu and Kashmir.